Hello, my dear audiences, ladies and gentlemen, my dear audience, I love you so much, and I believe that you choose to watch this show because you love me. With a mutual love, we have a common goal that we all want to put up our best to work for the best of our community being our own California. Now we're talking about our own California facing the election, which is the June primary for nationally, and to California, June the 7th, a casting day for the vote, a Tuesday, of course. And it's the day for you to choose a right one for the right job. Among the jobs, there is one Senate seat that is open on the 25th district of California, House of Senate, and one of the most hopeful candidate. If I could vote for two, I will vote for two. That is my friend, Mr. Chris Shahinian. Welcome, sir, to the show.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you. It's an honor for me to be here a second time
in exactly. That's exactly. I owe my audience an explanation. In my career, sitting here, I've never before put two shows next to each other, shoulder to shoulder, what we did today. What happened was that a day ago, 2 days ago, when we were doing this interview, and I discovered, at almost towards the end of the show, we discovered this man has a huge resolution that can deal with our homelessness, huge problem for centuries, ever since I came, at least, ever since I came to this country. And it sounds like so shocking to me, and positively, of course. And we decided to do it a second time, as the number two, as you can see, cast your vote for the right one, number two. Okay, now we understand the homelessness is a so persistent problem that we Californians have to face, especially we Angelenos. Can you please describe how big the problem is?
Let me tell you, the Los Angeles is the biggest United States homeless area. So in Los Angeles area, we have 12,000 only in Los Angeles homeless. State of Utah, it's a one state, we have about 2,500 homeless. Just see how big is different. And in 2015, homelessness raised 12%.
Yes.
That's a huge increase. And this has been for a long time. This is not something new. Homelessness has been in our state for decades. But there always people come, they talk about homelessness. But if you go deep and then talk to see the situation, you can see that these homeless people, they don't have a voice. They are the voiceless.
They do not have a voice.
They do not have a voice. There's a lot of people, they talk on their behalf to be on the front page of newspaper.
Now I loan them my microphone, let them talk. And we want to get somebody who can talk on their behalf, right?
Yeah.
That be you.
And I can't talk on their behalf, but at least I can say
something.
that, because I brought so many homeless in my home.
All right. Okay, all right, good.
And I listen to them. I give them the shower, they can shower. I find them a job. I find them shelter. They can be on their feet.
I see.
So I know their feelings. I know they're human beings like me and you. But they're unfortunate that because of sometimes economic situation, at one family I can say that, it was like a lady with 2 children. Her husband was deported. She was Hungarian. And she was, all of a sudden in one day, she left with nothing.
Nothing.
And she was on the street. It happened that I was visiting homeless shelter. And I saw this lady, and with 2 children, she's walking in the shelter. And I look at the children and my children, they were that age, they were frightened. Where we are. And I saw this, and the guy was giving me the tour. I said, sir, can I talk to this lady? Because I said, these people are frightened. He said, no, Chris, this is normal. I said, no, these people are different.
Not supposed to.
And I went there and talked to them. He said, what situation? They told me. I said, you know what? I want to take them to my home. I called my wife. I said, you know what, honey, we have a family, they're homeless. We have 2 children, and with my children age, we're going to bring them home. They need help. My wife said, of course, bring them on. And I struggled there to get these people to bring home, because once you get in, you can get out. So, but finally, after insisting that these people, they cannot be here. 2 children was 1-5, 1-4, 6N, and they cannot be here.
That hurts. Yeah.
I brought them home. I find a job for them, and they play with my children.
I see.
And then 2-3 months later, this lady knocking my door. Said, thank you. Thank you. It's like one effort, one small thing from our community can change life, and we can change people's life. Yeah. And we can talk a lot, we can have this program, that program, but the reality is we have today as we speak, 12,000 people sleeping in their streets.
What a wonderful story. What a wonderful story. My philosophy, if I can share with my audience, is that I don't care how strong you are. If you want to compete with me, go ahead. Be my guest, okay? And I'll compete with you. I'll put on my best to fight, right? If it turns out to the vulnerables, I really adore the fact that people just, lower down their ears to show heart, right? I'm asking you do me a favor and to do everybody of the audience a favor, right? Now that you act singly, all right? You can help one mother with 2 kids. Now that the position changes, if you are holding the seat of California Senate, do something bigger.
We can do it. And this, I don't give promises because, sorry, I'm just
thank you. Right, thank you, go ahead. That's okay.
But we need to do something. And we don't need miracles. We don't need to move mountains.
No, of course.
And look what Utah did, state of Utah. 2005, 2000, they saw that, they did a survey, how many homeless they have, how much homeless is costing for the state. Every single homeless was costing the state $16,670 exactly. Between ER, emergency room, between the jail, because they have to put them in jail, they break the law. They did a survey how it can help. They came with the plan that it's going to cost them much less, and we can take every single one of them out of the street.
Let's hold on to the plan, to the Utah plan, or the plan you have. We will put them together to see how it works.
California is not the same anymore. American dream is in jeopardy. American freedom is in jeopardy. Our democracy is in jeopardy. And let me tell you why. 2015, in California, we spent $70 billion. And California ranks 42nd in our nation. Our children, they're not getting quality education. And big businesses, big companies, manufacturers, they're leaving our state. Because California is not friendly anymore. Every 12 seconds, one child uses a drug for the first time. And many of them end up in prison. No wonder we're building more prison in California than school. We need to change that. Every day, this is very sad. Every day 22 veterans kill themselves because they are neglected. No one is taking care of them. Shame on us. Every night in California, thousands of children, they go to bed hungry. Poverty level is highest in our nation. Crime is up, homelessness is up. We lost the war on drugs, and we lost the war on poverty. This is not American dream. This is American nightmare. We're going to make first-year college free for our children. We're going to make our school campuses drug-free zone. I believe every Californian should have equal opportunity for a good job, for a good education, for a good family, and good health care. I am here humbly asking for your support. It will be my honor to represent you in California State Senate. It would be my honor to represent the Lebanese community, Armenian community, Arab community, African American community, Asian community. Support me. Together, friends, we come together. Together, we can move our states forward. Together, we can build our future. Together, we can make our economy better. Together, we can give our children quality education. And believe me, together, we can make California golden again. Now, I want to finish with this. Elect me. Now we'll make California prosper, stronger, and safer. God bless you.
Hello, my dear audiences, my dear fellow Californians. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East-West Show with G&E TV. I'm proudly joined by a friend of mine, Mr. Chris Shahinian, one of the very hopeful, most hopeful candidate for California Senator, 25th District. Well, I'm very sorry, and I believe that Mr. Shahinian said that he was sorry too. For that, we know it's mass tears we're talking about, right? Well, we don't shed tears so much, but once we do, it is really heartfelt. Our problem, the California problem, Los Angeles problem of homelessness is really big. And it's a persistently growing. And you compare about the numbers, same time with the last year, there is a 5.3% increase.
12%
right?
actually.
All right, 12% actually.
Exactly.
All right, good. And the other day when we were doing, 2 days ago, when we were doing the first interview, number one with Mr. Shahinian, at the very end, he happened to mention about his solution of handling the homelessness, the hunger problems. That really gives me an eye-opener, and we decided to do it. And never once before did we do any show like two next, well, shoulder to shoulder. We would call it worth it. Okay, now, to describe the problem though, we got to understand among the homeless people, did you or get any chance to analyze who they are, how they become homeless?
There's many factors, Jack.
Among them, who are they? By categories, by groups, or by sex, by age, by whatever?
Veterans.
Veterans is one.
30% of veterans there become homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And single moms.
Single moms, yes.
It's a big, this is like horrible to see a woman with his children homeless.
I see.
A lot of mental illness people, honestly, because they end up in. And
all right.
Now, in Los Angeles, there's 2,000 university students. They are homeless. In the morning they go to university. At night they are sleeping at parks.
Is that a fact?
It's a fact. You can go and see universities, just like how many. And this is heartbreaking. This is young people, and we are turning our back on them. And when it comes to put them in jail, the jail is open. When it comes to give them shelter, it's not available. So what we can do, and all we need to have, Jack, people who they have hearts.
Okay, let's do the analysis first. Number one, we're talking about veterans coming home homeless,
yes,
right? Because they either suffer from PTSD or any other kind of problems that cause them not being able to get a job, right? And number two, you're talking about young mothers, right? Yeah, single mother. Anyway, all right, either as a result of rape or whatever, whatever thing.
Lack of housing, lack of affordable housing.
And you're talking about single mother. You're talking about her baby or babies.
Baby. That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Yes.
So
yes.
that's about
and
more than one.
Woman
One
with
mother.
Children.
Right?
Woman with children.
And then you're talking about people who are having the drug problem.
Yes.
Anyway, if either accidentally or willingly or whatever.
They're all human, Jack. They're all human. They're all human. And in particular when it comes to veterans, listen, I'm going to be straightforward.
And also there are jail early release.
Yeah, yes.
Right. They're on the street and nobody gets them, nobody wants them, so they end up homeless.
That's what, Los
Or
Angeles we have.
people between jobs, whatever, they lost their
Economic
income
situation. They
or
lost their
economic
income.
situation.
They lost, they can't afford, like
Okay.
2 weeks ago, I'm going to give example. I got a call from lady. I was on a TV show talking about economy. This lady called me. She's a 72-year-old. She said, Mr. Shahinian, I know you're running for candidate, but can I ask you a favor? I said, what? Of course. She said, my owner, the rent that I'm renting, he raised the rent $500, and I'm a senior, my paycheck doesn't cover. If that becomes an issue, I'm going to be homeless. 72, she's senior. Just imagine she's frightened that she's going to be homeless at 72-year-old because, the homeowner, or, that's their right because no one's controlling them. He's going to raise $500, $600 per month. What are they going to do? Where are they going to go? And I said, this is what I said to her. Lady, as long as I'm living, you're not going to be on the street. Call me, whatever I can do. I can call the landlord. I can call the city manager. I can call the city council to not let you be homeless because we have enough homelessness. Okay. So what I'm saying, there's a lot of things affecting this, but because a lot of things affect, doesn't mean that we don't have solution. All we need, decent people. They're not serving special interest group. They're not, controlled by big corporation or lobbyists or this and that.
Bigger point.
They become really representing people because this is what Thomas Jefferson said, our second United States president.
Yes.
The first duty of the government is to take care of people. First duty.
First duty.
First duty to take care of people.
That's why.
And particularly in vulnerable ones. Those are the people they left behind. And when it comes to veterans, it's shame. I have to say shame. Probably it's not politically correct.
It's a huge shame.
Probably as a senator candidate, I should not say that. I should not open this wound and then talk about, how shameful is our veterans. They are serving our country. They're giving everything for we can be free.
You're right.
And they come here, they're not free. They're not free. They can't go. So if my child gets sick, I can take him, VBS to get, medicine. The veteran cannot go to pharmacy to get his medication. Veteran, when he gets sick, he has to wait months and months.
They have to go through their VA systems, which is almost not functioning.
It's bureaucracy.
Yeah, bureaucracy is so big that, for them to get once, for example, eye check, right? And they have to wait month after month to go through the VA system, right?
They fight for our freedom. They don't have freedom here.
Yeah, sure.
They don't have freedom. They don't have freedom to go in a hospital. They can.
Yes.
They don't have the freedom to go to any doctor.
You're right.
If your child gets sick or we get sick at night, you can go to any pharmacy, get Tylenol, can make sure our kids are safe. For veterans, that's not available.
We're simply talking about a fact. No matter who they are, what they have done, what they will do, they are human, right? Yeah. In a system, in a society, when people even treat your dogs or street cats friendly, why can't we treat our street human friendly the same way, like at least we treat our street dogs, right? At least like we treat our street cats, like that kind. And what makes us even worse, what makes my heart aches even more, is that among them there are 30% plus who have once put up their own lives to fight for the freedom of this country, for you, for me, for him, for her. And yet, when it comes to a moment when they come back home, they do not have a home. That is unacceptable. They do not even have food.
Yes.
And I have asked my producer and the editor to put up many pictures on the screen, big screen, as we're talking about. You will see those guys, when posting up their own picture at the service as a soldier, and then versus the face there now. What that picture tells you, right? How you're feeling. All right. That's exactly, I'm so excited to finally see somebody like Mr. Shahinian, who is determined, so determined. The moment, day one, when he gets to office, he will start drafting and a solution, or call it a bill, or whatever. SB, call it SB number one. No, AB.
AB number one.
SB.
SB.
Senate House. SB number one.
We can call it whatever you want.
Whatever
it's going to be on the Senate.
Okay. Hello, dear folks, dear fellow Angelinos. Welcome back to the show. We are seriously, with a long face, talking about our own problem in our backyard. We do know that we have a state called the Sunshine State. We do have the sunshine. However, we have problems almost as big as our sunshine. That is our homelessness and our hunger. All right. Homelessness and hunger always go together. That's why last show I called them twin sisters. Those beautiful, ugly twin sisters go hand in hand, and they go together. So now, when we, sir, by the way, once again, my good friend Chris Shahinian, he is the candidate running for a state Senate seat on the 25th District of California. And I wish you good luck. I know that I will vote on you. And I believe after this show, lots of folks will decide to cast votes to you because they want to choose somebody rather have a bigger heart than mouth.
Thank you.
Right,
and I want to finish one thing about...
Or at least you want to have the size of your heart as big as the mouth, or something like that.
Whatever you can call it.
Whatever you call it.
I don't like to make big promises, but what I have to say, I want to finish about veterans. You know, when you listen to the big, congressmen, they talk about war. They said we have moral responsibility to go to other nations to create wars. Moral responsibility. If we have moral responsibility to go to Iraq for war, send our young kids and children, then we have 100 times more of a moral responsibility to take care of our veterans.
Own back home, our
100
own
times.
home, yeah.
So we send them to the fire, we bring them home, we should give them, life, we can be proud of them. We have to take care of their children. So we're not doing that. We are not doing that. That's a shame.
Shame.
And you said, Jack,
thank you for having pointed that out. Go ahead.
And we talk about poverty. California is the richest state, golden state, right?
Yeah,
we call it golden state.
Yeah.
We have 130 billionaires live in California, billionaires live in California, because California is beautiful.
Yeah.
But if you walk to this street, to this poor neighborhood, you see it's different California. I have to say, I have to be very honest. California is not the same anymore. California is not golden anymore.
I agree with you.
Let me tell you why. When you see big companies leaving California, when unemployment goes up.
Allow me an insertion. When you talk about gold, you talk about two kinds of gold. Either solid gold or plated gold.
I think we are plated gold now.
We're plated.
We are plated gold because,
Go ahead.
crime is going up, homelessness is up. We lost the war on drug, we lost the war on poverty. We are losing our children every day. Every day, 22 veterans kill himself. Every 12 seconds, one child loses drug for the first time. Every day, somebody's getting, in the street, losing his home, losing his job. This is not American dream anymore. This is American nightmare.
Sir, let me ask you, if you have $1 billion in your hand, you have two choices. One, you could move the money around for a bullet train, for example. Two, you can move the money around to help with the vulnerables. What do you choose to do?
That's no question. I can't even think second. Vulnerables.
Thank you very much.
They're most vulnerable.
Thank you very much.
That's what I'm running for California State.
And thank you for speaking the same language. All right. And my audience is, if you keep watching this show, you can almost know me from head to toe. I'm a man with a big heart but soft, and I would call upon my audience, each of you, to make sure his plan happens, and his plan happens in reality, turns into reality. That means that we will have a helping hand at the state senate level to look down upon the problem to get it resolved, right? So now it's time to talk about your plan.
Okay.
Where do you get the resources, such as money,
Okay.
right? Such as food, such as housing, and please.
Okay, number one, let's talk about homelessness. As I said, every homeless person costs us money now, between jail time or ER when they go emergency. And it's like Utah did, it costing them $16,670 per year. Now they give them like shelters, apartments, with the service, you know, social service in the apartment, it costing them $11,000. They save per homeless $5,000 to the
5,000
to the
yes.
state. So no brainer, no brainer. All we have to do, we have a lot of vacant apartments. We can renovate those. We can give it to the homeless. We can give a service there, and on top of that, if we smart, if we think outside box, some of the homeless people, they can work. We can take them to work for any kind of work. 3-4 hours, we can give them hope, and we can solve this problem for homeless.
There are two ways to go in the money category, right? Number one, you're recommending that we follow the role model of Utah. Instead of putting up 16,000, use 11 to save 5,000 to motivate some of those unused or whatever available apartment, to build up a shelter for them to come in. That will be a saving of 5,000 per head count.
No brainer.
No brainer. And secondly, some of them, of the homeless, they can work.
They can work.
For exchange with their work, they can earn money to turn things around for themselves.
And believe me, maybe 50% of them in a year, they can be in a position that they can work full time if we can create jobs.
All right.
Economy is important also. Creating job is important.
All right.
Some of the people, as I said, homeless because they lost their jobs. What we can do? Why? Because big companies leaving California. We need to bring them back.
Let's go one step further. When Arizona is doing that, because they have a budget for $16,000 per head count, per capita, and do Californians, or does the state of California have the same kind of money that was squandered or spent in a way like Arizona used to do?
Utah, by the way.
I mean Utah.
There was no budget by that. That was expense, automatically you have to, because, homeless is going to ER.
I see.
Homeless is, he's sick, they take emergency, take him to, ER. They give him a service, and then they see that, by that time, it was like costing.
That's inactive.
Yes.
That's inactive expenses.
Yes, so.
That's emergency relief.
Emergency and jail, because they put them in jail.
In and out,
court,
in and out.
It's costing, and then, we should find a solution, and we can do the same
In other words,
thing.
the money, the 16,000, with or without
was
budget.
Taking from the budget.
With or without a budget, it has to be spent on an annual basis. Instead, they use 11 to save 5 to get the problem resolved in one way.
You know why? Because they care about homeless.
Are you
because
confident?
They care.
Are you confident, sir, that you move things around in California the same way, money-wise?
If I have 5 senators, they have the same passion that I have. 5 senators.
5.
5 senators, they have the same passion that I have. We can move things. We can make things happen. Alone, it's going to be very hard because it's uphill battle. I'm telling you why it's uphill battle. Because every senator, every elected official, they get their money from special interest group. They cannot.
You are right.
They cannot. They cannot. I'm repeating. They cannot freely think about people. Everything they're going to pass, they're going to go through this special interest group.
They're obligated.
Yes, because money comes in, favors go out.
All right.
And homeless people, they don't have representation.
That's why they don't have a voice.
That's why they. But
that's why you say they don't have a voice.
Person like me, I came from poor family.
All right.
I know what it means.
Especially
to go to bed hungry. I know what it means. as a young boy, I had to steal apple to eat.
All right.
Probably this is the first time I'm telling this story.
All right.
But it's sad. Only person who was in a situation here understand that. Only. Otherwise, you can't understand this. So I think if I can find 3-4 people like me, we can move mountains. We can solve this homelessness issue. We can solve poverty issue in California. We can solve many issues that we are struggling, suffering, and people looking for hope, Jack. We are tired. We are tired, sick and tired from this political, this bureaucracy, from politicians. They come, give you good speech, nice speech. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, and they end up, they go outside the door.
That's exactly why I say I want a bigger heart than bigger mouth. My dear friends, today we're really talking about something, about a problem that's been bothering me for the past 31 years. And I know that I have very limited ability, accessibility to the problems compared. But I wish that my friends, my audiences, my dear friend audience will join me in the fight to help with our vulnerables. So with me, thank God, given a great man, Mr. Shahinian, running already to serve at the California Senate House for the 25th District. Let's give him a push, all right? So stay with us. We'll be right back. When we come back, we'll find out where food comes from. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show. I've never been this excited, and I've never been this, call it emotional or whatever. Anyway, I take it very personal. The problem that we have, which is our homeless people. We have a big problem, homeless, as big as 46,000 something over one night. And as the latest the count, right? That was an increase of 12%, according to Mr. Shahinian, than last year. And how are we going to deal with the problem? We're waiting until this man, Mr. Shahinian, gets to the Senate seat. He is ready to move. He's determined, so determined to move things around that as long as he has 5 senators, fellow senators, joining him in the same call, and a bill will be given birth to. All right. So in the bill he is creating now, he talked about a solution of how to get the money.
Well, poverty in California is the highest in our nation. 26%. California population. We have 40 million population in California. 26%, they live in a poor condition.
That's 10 million.
Yeah. 50% of our children, they are in poor condition. 50%. I don't want to exaggerate, but I can tell you thousands of children, they go to bed hungry every night. Solution is California farmers. We have farms. We produce so much that we even distribute to outside farms, vegetables, fruit, many things, almonds, a lot of things we produce in California. We have 75,000 big farmers, big, we're talking now, acres. They produce a lot of things. And 40% of that food from farmers, and we have, by the way, thousands of supermarkets. The food waste that we have in California 1/3 of the salad garbage we have in package, 1/3 they destroy. 50% of bakery, it goes to trash. 50%. Overall, in California, 40% of the food, everything, from farmers to grocery, 40% goes to waste. Can we do something about this? Can we save?
Little insertion. This morning, my assistant, while helping me with my homework, she showed me some numbers. On the average, California food waste is over 50%.
I said 40%. Okay, your number is good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and probably she can prove it with a big screen
Yeah.
about it. So it's over 50%. And yet you have your brothers and sisters go hunger
Okay.
on the street.
We can ignore them. I can be like any politician. I can ignore. I can focus on issues that where I can get vote. Because poor people, they don't have voice. They can't vote for me. See what I'm saying? Why politicians? They don't care because they know they're not going to vote. They don't have car probably to get up and vote. They don't have maybe shelters. So that's why they focus on issues that affect those people's vote.
Yeah, of
You
course,
see,
yeah.
the solution for this, Jack, the 40% food waste that we have, I'm going to put legislation to ban the food waste from farmers to all the way to grocery store. Any supermarket, 5,000 square foot and big, or any farmers that, we're not talking small farmers, they feed their family. Farmers, they produce, we're going to ban the food waste.
How do you ban them?
We're going to, this is what we're going to do. We're going to pass legislation. They cannot destroy this food. We need, instead of destroying, let's say, they put it, garbage is not good, it's not clear, they put aside, instead of trashing that, they have to package those. We're going to send to charity organization. We're going to give permit to charity organizations.
Okay.
They can go and get those
Distributed.
So what we're going to do, we're going to put those charity organizations to work. Charity organizations get fund from state and from federal. And instead of just not doing anything, we can give them a challenge that they start distributing the food. We can have like a food bank in every poor neighborhood.
I see.
We can have area where they can walk.
In other words, you enforce it.
We enforce it.
With the law, you enforce the law, and on the other hand, do you give them incentives for following the laws?
Well, if they break the law, definitely they have to get penalty.
Yeah, if they follow the law,
do
do they get the incentives?
Well, number one, if they get incentive, number one, we're gonna, instead of trashing, wasting that, we need landfill to put trash. We're gonna save that for our state. So, and we can definitely give them some kind of tax break. Tax break if they cooperate without breaking the law. Definitely, there's reward. There's always help. If you give them reward, of course, number one, they're not going to be
How
happy.
about restaurants, bakeries, and dairy houses or stuff like that?
Starbucks a month ago, he did something good. Starbucks.
Starbucks. Okay.
Starbucks. You know what? From now on, I'm not going to throw those leftovers. I'm going to give it to organizations.
Leftover bagels,
Bagels.
or croissants, whatever.
It was a great thing. This is one small Starbucks. Just imagine we can do California statewide.
I know.
Believe me, Mr. Jack, this issue that people going to hunger, we can solve that. We can solve this hunger problem. All we need is
And
small
also, you want to motivate those restaurant owners. And for example, the Chinese restaurant, they have a hot sour soup that can be served.
Of course.
That can be reserved for a long time, right?
Of course.
Till the end of the day, have them donate that to organizations you mentioned, either a church or a nonprofit or whoever, to give them to the people who are outside on the street being cold, hungry and cold.
And look what can happen. Just look on a small scale. So if we look at big scale, we get scared. If you look at one small scale, if we have one farmer's or supermarket in my neighborhood, if every night the bread that we have, we can take it just with the truck driver and take it to the poor neighborhood every night. Just how many people we can feed, how many families we can feed, and expand that for statewide. And honestly.
Oh, very good.
It's a shame that our children, they go into bed hungry.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is richest country. We call it, greatest country. It
How
is greatest
can
country.
anybody go hunger if we motivate that, right? And okay, we gotta do it in a very compact way, because we try to save time. How about housing? How do you arrange the shelters? In terms of the homeless, you always talk about twofold. Number one, to feed them. Number two, to shelter them, right? So
Yes.
how do you take care of the shelter problem?
There's a housing is. I have to be straightforward.
And for example, for the 46,000, you need at least 400 houses.
Yeah, let me tell you this. Just like California failed to build affordable housing because there's a law in in Pasadena, for instance, I can say Pasadena, if a developer has to build like 100 unit, 10% should be for affordable housing.
All right.
10%. But what happened, because those developers, they have connections, they are the one calling the shots, they always find a loophole
Okay.
to not follow the law. So
How they do it?
how they do it. So what we're going to do? We're going to pass a law. Again, this is something to fight. It's not easy. Everything I'm saying,
Yeah, I know.
it's not easy because
That's why we need
yeah,
somebody.
Yeah. What
go
we're going to
there,
do?
yeah.
Let's say developer comes to build in Covina, like 100 unit. If the poverty in Covina is 30%, they have to build 30% of the affordable housing. Did you get it?
I see. Instead of 10%
Instead of-
fixed.
yes.
I
So
see.
and we're going to enforce that.
All right.
If they agree to build 30%, then we're going to help them. We're going to help them in a way that we're going to streamline their system instead of pounding them out regulation after. We're going to help them to
Streamline them, to provide them with the
process.
sewers,
Yes.
with electricity, utility, otherwise, whatever, to
make
right.
things happen.
Okay.
So, and if the neighborhood there's a 40% poverty level,
Let's go 40.
let's go 40. So, but without allowing them to find any loopholes. The loopholes are elected officials. Elected officials come, okay, they give you like, under the table, whatever, okay, all of a sudden, everything's becomes nice and dandy. And from now on, as a senator, no more playing with people's life. You build 100 unit. If you're building in Covina, there's 30% poverty rate, you build 30%
In other
affordable
words,
housing.
putting the three of the solutions together, the problem seems to be resolved. Number one, we want to use the money wisely, and number two, we want to ban the food waste, and we want to enforce the law. In the meantime, we want to give incentives to whoever the law followers, right?
Yep.
And number three, to developing policies, you want to let them go in parallel with the ratio of the poverty.
Yes. And what happened?
And altogether, putting the three solutions doesn't cost California a budget.
As we said, of course,
it doesn't.
it's not going to cost big budget because, as he said, it's
But
already.
in the very beginning, you'd have the inactivity spend money.
Yes,
anyway, right?
and the food waste that we have,
Yeah.
you need to truck that food, truck to take it, to dumpster, right?
To dump. Yes.
We need,
yes.
instead of taking to dumpster, we're going to take it, to the shelter. See, the cost is
you're
already
right,
there.
You're right. You're right.
I mean, of course, we need some budget.
Yeah.
And I think
You
we
only
can-
drive differently.
Yes, we can
different
try it
directions.
differently, but the will is not there. Let me tell you.
Very good. Personally, I want to thank you very much because you really speak my language. I call it my language, and I believe he speaks your language too, my dear friends, my dear audience, ladies and gentlemen, who I love so much, who I believe share the same belief. All right, so we want to work together to make it happen, to make sure somebody with that kind of brain, with that kind of heart, which is bigger than the mouth, to get things done up there at the Senate House. So 25th District, remember the name, Chris Shahinian, Chahinian.
Correct.
All right,
Great
so
job.
I wish I spelled the name
Great.
right,
You did
and
great.
that's the name. And I can't mess it up because this is the person who first time find a solution that sounds to resolve the problem. that bothers me for the past 31 years. So we are way over time, and the following is for my producer and editor to cut myself as much as you need to do to keep him there, please. My dear audience, thank you very much for watching. And I'm dying for a better California. I'm dying to help those people, those vulnerables. Hopefully thank God we were given a choice, such a choice. Please go ahead, cast your vote to the right one. All right, thank you very much for number 2. And sir, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack. It was an honor for me to be here.